Welcome to the Product-Led Geek podcast, a companion to the newsletter of the same name, with PLG, product and growth essays narrated by me, Ben Williams, the Product-Led Geek. Enjoy! How to get started with your PLG monetization team. Today, I'm going to help you get started with your first monetization team in growth. Spinning up a growth team with a dedicated monetization remit will allow you to start to impact top-line growth far more directly than other growth initiatives. But beware, it's common to feel strong executive pressure to demonstrate positive early returns on investments in growth, and direct revenue impact is often the thing that's looked for as the most tangible of those returns. This can often lead to premature investment into growth monetization, making success an uphill struggle into strong headwinds for teams on the coalface. Many growth monetization initiatives get off to a shaky start. Growth monetization efforts often falter at the starting line due to launching prematurely. Usually, one or more of these issues is present. Lack of clear alignment on why you're setting up a monetization team, lack of focus, unrealistic expectations on the time frame to impact, products with poor retention characteristics, lack of the right mix of skills for the core team, insufficient buy-in from cross-functional stakeholders. The good news is that by being aware of these things, you can ensure that you sequence monetization efforts at the right time, avoid the traps, and better set up the team for success. Here's how, step by step. Step 1. Agree on the outcomes you're trying to achieve. Before starting, priority number 1 needs to be for you to understand the problem you're trying to solve and the opportunity that lies in solving that problem. How you build out the monetization team and execute will look very different if you're trying to address each of the following opportunities or priorities. Increasing GTM efficiency and lowering CAC by implementing a self-serve motion. Expanding addressable market to non-covered territories via a self-serve motion. Increasing self-serve revenue by optimizing the monetization journey. Increasing customer LTV and net dollar retention across all revenue channels through monetization awareness. Or improving sales team close rates by formalizing a product-led sales process. The specific goals for the initiative should be driven by the broader growth strategy and have clear alignment across the executive team. You should also ensure KPI ownership is clear. If the relevant motion is there, in B2B SaaS, I'm a proponent for the growth monetization team owning both self-serve revenue dollars and PQA pipeline dollars or volume. Having this alignment also means you'll have an agreed framework for ongoing reporting. If you don't get this step right, buckle up. It'll be a bumpy ride. Step 2. Constrain your focus. Trying to do too much at once is difficult for any product team. The different types of work that a growth monetization team might take on are widely varied in nature, and the cost of trying to split energy across these different areas concurrently can be high. This is even further exacerbated by the fact that different skill sets and profiles are better suited to different types of work. I experienced this at Sneak when we tried to initially bifurcate the efforts of the monetization team across self-serve infrastructure implementation and monetization awareness experimentation. As soon as we reset to first focus just on the infrastructure work, everything moved much faster. Step 3. Set timeline expectations. A huge cause of frustration within the management team can come from misaligned expectations around timeline for impact. Getting ahead of this by setting appropriate expectations seems obvious, but it's something I've seen growth leaders slip up with. This is a particularly sensitive area because of expectation on revenue. The specific timelines are obviously going to vary depending on the team focus and the monetization opportunity, and the status quo. An area I've seen to have wide misconceptions around is the effort and time involved in standing up self-serve infrastructure, and even more so when that needs to happen in the context of broader existing sales-led monetization infra. Step 4. Ensure the product is ready. Monetization is rarely the first opportunity that you should be focused on in your growth team. Don't jump into monetization efforts if you're hemorrhaging users. If your product isn't retaining well, it's essentially down to one of two things. There's not enough value for users to keep them coming back, product market fit problem, or you're not doing a good enough job connecting new users to the value. If it's the former, stop all efforts across all of growth immediately and do nothing but focus on crafting a product that solves an important enough problem for users to keep them wanting to return. If it's the latter, you should pause monetization efforts and think about investing more into improving activation by getting better at helping users and teams to build habits around the core value. 99% of the time, growth teams building strong activation and engagement mechanisms is an essential prerequisite to scalable monetization via any channel. Step 5. Design and staff the team with the right skills. Different problems and opportunities require different skill sets. While growth generalists can adapt to many problems, there are going to be situations where they won't be effective or where other profiles will be able to move more quickly. The Reforge Growth Practitioner Profiles Matrix provides a solid model to support your staffing considerations. If you want to learn more about this framework, consider enrolling in the Reforge Growth Leadership Program. Side note, if you're starting with a nucleus and are going to further staff the team while executing, ensure time to hire and ramp new team members is factored into any expectations on the timeline. Step 6. Closely involve cross-functional stakeholders. While your growth team may be centralized, there will always be important relationships that they need to build with people in other functions across the org. This is especially true with monetization, where relationships with the GTM org, in its broadest definition of sales, marketing, customer success, and supporting ops, are particularly important. The growth monetization team will often act as a critical bridge in enabling other teams to effectively leverage product usage data in acquiring and retaining paying customers. Some initiatives may even demand you reconsider membership in the core monetization team to be more inclusive. For example, as PLG native companies scale and layer on product-led sales motions, best practice to have an experimentation-minded product specialist or a BDR working within the growth monetization team to better support experimentation around the end-to-end revenue optimization process. Summary. When you get all of these things in place, your monetization team will be standing on much firmer ground. You'll have changed the direction of the wind in their favor, and they'll be much more likely to succeed in addressing the strategic monetization opportunities in their remit. Take time to focus on these things up front to avoid friction and pain down the line. Thanks for listening. For more Product-Led Geek audio essays or to read the newsletter, hop on over to plg.news.